Assalamu alaikum. Today our topic is about acute liver failure. Starting from the definition, what's the definition? Define is rapid progressive acute liver injury. Rapid progressive acute liver injury lasting less than or equal to 26 weeks associated with coagulopathy and encephalopathy. Rapidly progressive acute liver injury lasting not more than or equal to 26 weeks associated with coagulopathy and encephalopathy. There is a storm outside. Encephalopathy. It is called acute liver failure and acute liver injury. In those individuals having already liver problem or those individuals which are healthy, there is no differentiating fever symptoms. Patient is already patient may be healthy or patient may be having a liver problem. So we are going to divide it sub so we are going to discuss about its subtypes. The time taken to develop encephalopathy after the onset of other symptoms like jaundice, we classify into its subtypes like hyperacute state, acute phase, and subacute phase. If encephalopathy develops in less than a week, we'll call it hyperacute state. If it takes time, encephalopathy develops in 1 to 3 weeks after the onset of jaundice and other symptoms, we call it acute states. If encephalopathy develops in 3 to 26 weeks after the onset of jaundice and other acute liver failure symptoms, we call it subacute liver failure. So, we are going to discuss about its etiology. Etiology is in a very simple way we are going to discuss those causes which affects liver normal structure and liver's normal function. So in etiology we are going to discuss about toxic substances which are causing liver injury. First is hepatotoxic drugs and supplements. As you all know, liver also stores few compounds which are helpful and required for body normal functions. So first cause of liver injury is hepatotoxic drugs and supplements. The second cause is, let me add a feature, automatic shapes. So the second cause is infections. What kind of infections which can lead to development of acute liver injury? ठीक है, viral hepatitis, acute viral hepatitis which includes hepatitis A virus, hepatitis B virus infection, or hepatitis E virus infection, or a combination of two viruses like hepatitis B virus and hepatitis D virus. If they coexist and co-infect or super-infect a liver, they can also cause acute liver failure. So other viruses which rarely cause liver injury या liver failure are cytomegalovirus, Epstein-Barr virus, herpes simplex virus. These are rare causes. Varicella zoster virus and adenovirus. Varicella zoster virus and adenovirus. These viruses are rarely cause acute liver failure. So we are going to discuss about exogenous causes. Exogenous toxins. Patient is taking mushrooms, especially those mushrooms which are associated with Amanita family. Amanita phalloides. These mushrooms cause acute liver failure. Or patient is taking aflatoxins. And the third cause which is patient consuming or a person is consuming can develop acute liver failure is alcohol. The miscellaneous causes which are going to discuss, which I am going to discuss about acute liver failure are miscellaneous causes are Budd-Chiari syndrome. ठीक है, these are vascular causes. In this syndrome, hepatic vein obstruction take place, which leads to hepatomegaly, ascites, and abdominal discomfort. The next thing which are going to discuss is in vascular disorders are ischemic hepatitis. As you all know, ischemia is a condition in which there is very low or not enough blood supply to fulfill the demands of a tissue or an organ. Next miscellaneous cause we are going to discuss is pregnancy related. As you all know, in pregnancy, patients can develop HELLP syndrome. In this syndrome, patient presents with hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes, and low platelet count. The next miscellaneous cause we are going to discuss is about in pregnancy, patient can also have acute fatty liver disease, which also lead to acute liver failure. ठीक है, acute fatty liver of pregnancy. The next cause is inherited. In miscellaneous, inherited cause. In what we are going to discuss is inherited or autoimmune cause. Autoimmune cause के अंदर what we are going to discuss is Wilson disease. In Wilson's disease, there is copper accumulation in liver and other organs. Or other autoimmune cause is autoimmune hepatitis. Next thing we are going to discuss about the risk factor and the cause of acute liver failure is malignant infiltration. A lymphoma metastasize can also cause acute liver failure. So how a patient presents in a clinical case, how you are going to evaluate a patient on the basis of their clinical features. Clinical features, how a patient is going to present. The first sign you are going to look if a patient comes after 3 weeks or uh, subacute or a subacute state, like patient develops hepatotoxicity. We will find signs of hepatic encephalopathy. Hepatic encephalopathy. A patient comes to you with hepatic encephalopathy. What are the signs of hepatic encephalopathy? Patients have jerky tremors which are uh, of low frequency. When you outstretch the patient's arm, forearm, and extend the wrist, you will see tremors. The next sign of hepatic encephalopathy is altered level of consciousness. Altered level of consciousness. Patient may be blabbering about things, Patient may be abusive, patient may speak irrelevant things. The next sign we are going to discuss, the next symptom we are going to discuss in a patient is of cerebral edema. In cerebral edema, there is edema in brain which leads to headache. Patient presents with headache along with focal neurological defects. Patient can have vomiting, altered mental state, or may patient presents with seizures and coma. These are the signs of cerebral edema. The next thing we are going to discuss about the clinical features the patient is going to present is fatigue, lethargy. Patients look fatigued, lethargic, and malaise. We'll find nausea plus vomiting. The next clinical feature we are going to look in acute liver failure patient is jaundice. Sign of jaundice: yellow discoloration of skin, mucous membranes, and pruritus. It takes time to develop. So if a patient comes to you in 1 to 3 days, maybe he has a history of jaundice and pruritus, but the symptoms appear late. Next next clinical feature we are going to look in the patient is we'll ask about his history of eating, whether he eats good or he lacks feeling of eating, or he doesn't want to eat, or he lost his appetite. The seventh clinical feature we are going to discuss is abdominal pain. Why abdominal pain? Where it is located? The location where liver is located, right upper quadrant. Patient may present with abdominal pain in his right upper quadrant, which is of diffuse nature, diffuse in nature, and maybe this pain is associated due to ascites. So that's all a patient can present with acute liver failure. These are the clinical features patient can present with. So what should we suspect? What should our differential diagnosis may be? Differential diagnosis. What should we suspect? So patient may have decompensated liver disease या decompensated cirrhosis. Next differential is of our clinical presentation is severe acute hepatitis without liver failure. Maybe it's due to alcohol associated hepatitis or due to some viral cause. The next differential of our clinical presentation is chronic liver disease with superimposed illness. The next cause or differential of our discussion is or clinical presentation is sepsis. Let's place something related to brain as patient presents with encephalopathy, encephalitis. We mark it in lower level, placing it in last. So how we will diagnose this patient? These are our differential diagnosis. How will we diagnose our patient? Diagnostics. As we all know, there is right upper quadrant tenderness or pain, fatigue, lethargic, vomiting, jaundice. Jaundice is associated to bilirubin, pruritus, cerebral edema, Hepatic encephalopathy, tremors, these are the clinical features of an acute liver failure. As our mind is diverting towards liver, we'll go for liver laboratory studies. What laboratory studies we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about comprehensive metabolic panel. What we discussed in our cirrhosis video, in comprehensive metabolic panel, we will discuss about three things. First is transaminases. In a liver injury, there is elevated level of transaminases, elevated level of AST and ALT, transaminases. Along with, we will find hyperbilirubinemia. The bilirubin level is synthetic function of liver is also distorted and disturbed. So we will find hyperbilirubinemia. What else we will find? We will done a glucose test. We will find hypoglycemia. So we are going to discuss about the electrolytes. As liver regulates different electrolytes, so what we'll find? We'll find electrolyte disturbance, like there will sodium depletion, potassium depletion. We'll find phosphate depletion, hypophosphatemia. So next thing the liver is going to affect is our renal function test. We, in order to rule out our differentials and to clear our liver pathology, we will do renal function test. In renal function test, we will find blood urea nitrogen increase and our creatinine ratio. Blood urea nitrogen is increased, our creatinine is also increased. These are signs. If these are increased, we will see the patient is going to present with hepatorenal syndrome, in which the liver also affecting the renal system. The next profile we are going to discuss is coagulation panel. As liver produces, makes coagulation factors, different vitamins, coenzymes, cofactors. We're going to discuss about coagulation panel study. Coagulation panel. So what will happen in acute liver failure of our coagulation panel? We'll find prothrombin time increase. Prothrombin time, when we'll test for PT time, it will prolong. It takes time to coagulate. Next test we are going to perform is complete blood count. In this, we'll find, as coagulation profile is disturbed, we'll find platelet counts which are of lower limit is there 150,000 per millimeter cube. We'll find equal to this lower limit or less than this. Patient of acute liver failure may also present with leukopenia. It means low leukocyte count due to some viral cause. If the cause is some viral hepatitis and the cause is some herpes simplex virus, Epstein-Barr virus and the rare causes. So patient may also present with leukopenia. As a patient develops, as you all know, patient develops hepatic encephalopathy. Hepatic encephalopathy is associated to raised ammonia levels. We'll go for serum ammonia level. We'll check serum ammonia level, which is frequently elevated. Depends on the hepatic encephalopathy. So kind of different imaging we can done to confirm our diagnosis. We'll go for CT head. As patient develops with altered state of consciousness in any case in this worldwide, if a patient develops altered state of consciousness, we'll go for first CT head. So if cause is presentation is cause of altered mental status, AMS. If patient presents altered mental status, to rule out other causes of altered mental status, we will go for CT head. Now the patient says I have right upper quadrant abdominal pain. We will go for abdominal ultrasound. Abdominal ultrasound with Doppler. In this imaging modality, we will see how much the liver is damaged, or we will see the bile ducts or the intrahepatic extrahepatic bile ducts. We will see the structure of liver, parenchyma of liver, anatomy of liver. So next thing, in order to find the cause of our disease, to rule out our cause, we'll go for viral markers, if it's viral hepatitis or not. Viral markers, which includes hepatitis A viral markers, B viral markers, C, D, and we'll also go for hepatitis E serology. And next cause we are going to rule out is if whether drugs are causing our illness or not, whether toxic substances are causing acute liver failure. We'll go for testing of hepatotoxic medications. Hepatotoxic medication. In this testing, we'll go for urine drug screening. Urine drug screening. The next text we are going to discuss is serum paracetamol level, acetaminophen level, and salicylate level. As you all know, paracetamol is also a leading cause of acute liver failure. So we have discussed patient may also have hereditary disorder, autoimmune hepatitis, or patient may have Wilson disease. We'll go for ceruloplasmin levels and copper studies to rule out whether Wilson disease is present or not. The next thing for autoimmune hepatitis, to find out if autoimmune hepatitis is causing acute liver failure or not, is to check IgG level. If there is any malignancy, you are suspecting a malignancy, you are not finding any cause of any etiology which is leading to your diagnosis of acute liver, you are suspecting a malignancy, you will go for alpha fetoprotein for your diagnosis of any suspected malignancy. So if a lady is presented to you and she is saying she is having hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes, and low platelet count syndrome, HELP syndrome, if you are suspecting her a HELP syndrome lady, you will go for first pregnancy test, whether she is pregnant or not. The next thing, if we have discussed about Our acute liver failure causes is accumulation of different substances and supplements. Whether iron is accumulating or not, we rule out this serum ferritin level. We'll find serum ferritin level. If you are suspecting a patient is of hemochromatosis or patient is having iron overload, you will go for serum ferritin level. So next thing is, how will we manage our patient? We have discussed so far the definition of acute liver failure, the causes of acute liver failure. We have discussed the presentation, clinical feature, how a patient presents to our clinic or with acute liver failure, how what we will suspect, what our mind should think about the differential this patient presented with, as there are many clinical features which are present in different diseases like altered mental states, seizures, coma, hypoglycemia, DKA essentials. So we have discussed clearly about diagnostic points, lab studies, and imaging modalities we are going to discuss. Now our point is, how will we treat this patient? Let's suppose you are competent enough to find the cause. You will treat the cause. If you are like me, you did not find what is going to happen, but you just know the patient is of right upper quadrant, have pain, abdominal distension is developing, hepatic encephalopathy, patient is lethargic, malaise, fatigue. You asked about his appetite and he says, I lost my appetite. So what you is going to plan? You just find the system that you patient is developing liver disease. You are not suspecting any cause, you are not thinking about any cause. What will you do? You just give him NAC. What is this? N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine. It's an antioxidant. What its function? Its function is to restore depleted hepatic glutathione in patients which presents with paracetamol poisoning. You got my point. If a patient comes to you with acute liver failure and you are not finding out any cause, you will administer him an acetylcysteine. Let's suppose if a patient comes to you with any other cause other than acetaminophen or paracetamol toxicity. What will you do? Any X drug patient comes to you with acute liver failure. What will you do? You don't have to worry, you can give an acetylcysteine to this patient too. And the main point you should remember in your mind, in your all six senses, 12 senses, with in your heads, in your fingers, in your mind, in your heart, in your words, that you are going to administer an acetylcysteine as early as possible. If a patient is presented to you, you are a patient comes to you with jaundice and pruritus and you are not finding any other cause, patient has not developed hepatic encephalopathy, you will certainly run for an acetylcysteine. This is the main treatment you are going to give to this acute liver failure patient. So a patient comes to you after eating Amanita floridis mushrooms. So what will you do? You will give the patient an acetylcysteine. I am focusing on this thing that in our clinical practice in worldwide, patient comes with acute liver failure and we don't know what to do. We don't, the youngsters, the young doctors, the young pediatricians or other doctors don't know what to do. Just give him an acetylcysteine before hepatic encephalopathy develops or it becomes severe. So, in this is the emergency treatment you are going to advise. Now, a patient is shifted to a ward. You are going to rule out different tests. I am saying tests. You are going to perform different tests to rule out the cause. If a patient comes to you and you rule out that this is a case of autoimmune hepatitis, you will give him a trial of steroids. If patient if patient symptoms cure or relieved, your diagnosis will be confirmed. Now you are suspecting a viral hepatitis patient. What will you do? You will give antivirals, not in case of hepatitis A, which is self-resolving. In a case of hepatitis B infection, you will surely go for antiviral drugs. If you are a competent doctor, you are working in USA or you are working in America or you are working in Canada, you wanted to learn about more Amanita flides poisoning, you can start treatment if you have facilities with silibinin. Silibinin. You getting my point? It's an antidote. In poor countries like mine, Pakistan, we rarely have such kind of drugs because Amanita is not exist in so much number that people try to eat Amanita. So it's an antidote of Amanita, or you can give penicillin G if you don't have silibinin. If you don't have silibinin, you can also give penicillin G. So we have discussed that if a patient comes to you with acetaminophen toxicity, we will give an acetylcysteine. Let's suppose you work very hard to save the patient. You try to develop patient's bond with his liver and patient's liver injury reverses. Like patient do not develop chronic liver failure or patient's liver stays in his healthy position, like totally liver failure doesn't develop. It's a good news for the patient. Meanwhile, if patient develops acute liver failure, this means the liver is failed. No, the if your brakes are failed, you are not going to brake. You are not going to risk your life with those brakes. You try to change those disc brakes, you try to change the computer setting, you try to change the pipes that leading the current and the fluid to the brake. You will change the brakes, you will change your faulty piece. In liver failure, acute liver failure, we will consider liver transplant. Consider liver transplant as sportive therapies. Liver transplant as our sportive therapies could not help so much to uh, save the liver of our patient, we'll go for liver transplant. So what's the prognosis? With the advances in management, we have developed so much improvement for acute liver failure, but prognosis remains poor. Poor prognosis. This thing is gonna stop. In USA, the overall mortality of acute liver failure is 30 to 40%. And if we do not No, if you couldn't determine what's the etiology, it's more poorer prognosis. So survival without liver transplant depends on etiology. If acetaminophen toxicity, hepatitis A toxicity, pregnancy associated like HELP syndrome or ischemic hepatitis, there is more than 50% chances of mortality without liver transplant. And if you transplant the liver, you have done liver transplant after ruling out the cause. The good news is 65 to 84% patient survive at 1 year after liver transplant. That's all about our acute liver failure. If you have any question to ask about acute liver failure, you are more than welcome to ask me about it. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.